The air in the docking bay stank of oil, ozone, and something fouler, something alive. Galrix, the Mauler overseer, lounged on the throne of his exoskeletal suit, its segmented legs clicking idly as they adjusted to his bulk. Around him, his loyal Kethna warriors hissed and clicked in approval, their mandibles chittering at the sight of a writhing figure being dragged before them. The human, or what remained of one. He knelt there, half cloaked in shadow, body twisted into grotesque spirals of scar tissue and jagged bone. Flesh bubbled and stretched over metal implants that pulsed like dying stars. A single eye, cloudy yet piercing, stared up at Galrix from a face so mangled it was impossible to discern where cheek ended and jaw began. "I see you've returned, Valen," Galrix crooned, his voice a slick vibration. "A cockroach, scuttling back to life. I thought I'd killed you better." Valen didn't answer. He hadn't spoken much since that day, since the Maular had injected him with their experimental mutagen and left him for dead in the belly of a dying starship. They hadn't anticipated his survival, not through the reactor's fiery collapse or the long days clawing through the debris remade into something wretched by their poison. Galrix's laugh then had been a strangled bark of triumph. Now it was hollow, nervous. "Do you even understand what you've become?" Galrix leaned forward, one of his mechanical appendages snapping toward Valen's face like a striking snake. The human didn't flinch, though the sharp pincers stopped a hair's breadth from his one good eye. "I do," Valen rasped. His voice was gravel dragged over glass, wet with something unspeakable. "A masterpiece. Your hands forged me." He grinned, a ragged, terrible thing that split his lips. "Shall I thank you?" Galrix froze, the Kethna shifting uneasily. It was not fear, not yet, but Valen had learned to spot the seeds of it. "Kill him," Galrix hissed at the nearest Kethna, whose scaled bulk bristled in acknowledgement. It lunged forward, raising a serrated halberd to carve the man in two. Valen moved like a collapsing star, fast, relentless, inevitable. His hand, augmented with bone shards like living knives, shot up and impaled the Kethna through its throat. The alien staggered back, choking, claws scrabbling at the invasive protrusions. A sickening crunch echoed as Valen twisted, and the creature's body crumpled, twitching spasmodically. The remaining warriors tensed, but Galrix barked a command in their native tongue, holding them back. They shifted uneasily, but obeyed, their hissed protests silenced by his glare. "You're amusing," Galrix sneered, "but that's all you'll ever be, a curiosity. Something broken, pretending to be a threat. Broken." The word rang in Valen's ears. He rose slowly, savoring the moment, his hunched silhouette casting a jagged shadow against the bay's flickering lights. Pain rippled through him with every movement, a constant reminder of what he'd become. He welcomed it. Pain was clarity. Pain was purpose. "Broken," he said, voice low. "You think I don't know that?" He raised his arms, displaying his grotesque, malformed frame. The cybernetics twitched and hissed, veins throbbing against their constraints. "I am broken. You made me this way. But here's the difference." He took a step forward, his smile widening. "I learned to love the cracks." Galrix's exosuit surged to life, a cacophony of machinery and glowing plasma. But Valen was already moving. His body blurred, closing the distance in an instant. One of the suit's arms lashed out, but Valen caught it mid-swing, the impact shattering the bone in his forearm. He didn't care. Pain sharpened him. With a guttural roar, he drove his bone-shard hand into the suit's joint, prying it apart as sparks rained around him. He targeted the soft joints, the points where flesh met machine. The alien screamed, a high-pitched, stuttering sound as Valen ripped the limb free and turned it on its owner. The plasma cannon discharged, a white-hot bolt piercing Galrix's carapace. The Maular's scream turned wet and gurgling. As the overseer crumpled, gasping, Valen knelt beside him, his shattered body trembling with effort. He placed a hand on Galrix's chest, claws clicking against the cracked exoskeleton. "Don't worry," Valen murmured, almost tenderly. "I'm not here for revenge. Not really. I just want you to see." "See what?" Galrix choked, ichor bubbling from his mouth. Valen's one good eye blazed with something that wasn't quite hatred. That cruelty is mercy's shadow. I let you live to see the mask fall. Then he stood and left, the sound of the mauler's rasping breaths fading behind him like the dying echoes of a funeral dirge.